should be hit.
Yeah.
I've always liked it.
Have you? It's crazy. I
And
don't
it's
like
nice.
it.
It feels familiar now.
Does it? I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
Don't crack your knuckles.
I'm sorry.
Sounds so bogan.
I forgot you hate that.
Hello, Kate.
Hello, Gerald.
I'm amazed that you actually got here on time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. So before we start, hello everyone, how you all doing? It's Monday the 18th of, what are we, April? Mm-hmm. The weather out there is 21 degrees, double it and add 30, and petrol is at $1.59. So who is Kate Norrris?
I hate that question. I think in my 20s I could have answered it very confidently, and the older I get, the less confident I am about that. I hope that'll change again. I am a mum of two. I've got an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old. I have a husband who's just completed his second book. He is an author. And I'm a communications coach, specifically teaching people how to communicate using data.
I saw somebody had written actually up on there, hello everyone, how you all doing? So I don't know who wrote that comment up there. It might have been somewhere along the lines of, there we go, this one here, hey Teresa, how you doing?
Oh.
Present, 5:57 p.m, Sunday, Fort Worth, Texas. I looked up Kate. You looked up Kate. I think she teaches people how to present data. Maybe G-Man is looking at getting her to be his producer. No, she's got things to do.
Skills.
How did we meet?
Okay, so I know you love this story. From my perspective, I think I was your star student. So I was 17 and Gerald was my very first teacher of presentation skills. I'd signed up for a presentation skills course at work. I think I was in admin. I must have been. I was only 17, and I believe I was excellent that day.
I believe you were excellent. It was a 2-day workshop, wasn't it? First day workshop in how to present in your presentation skills. The objective was to be able to get up and to present a 5-minute spiel.
Yep.
And you were working at a power company at that stage, and you delivered your 5-minute spiel, which only lasted about 17 seconds. Tell us what happened in 17 seconds.
I think I just cried.
She cried. She got it there. She did more than that. She projectile vomited. Like, I know she's not going to admit that, but she got up there and went, "Hi, my name's Kate." Oh, actually, you were Kate Rasmussen.
Yep.
Before that, you were Kate Rasmussen. You sat back and you went, "Hi, my name's Kate Roos," and just everyone just went on. Just ruined the whole day for everyone. And now you were on a company called
Presentation Boss, and we basically teach people presentation skills.
How good is that?
And I like it because people often assume people who have those skills are born with them, and I absolutely, hand on heart, can say I was not born with those skills.
No, it's good, isn't it? And I like the way that you've got a business partner. And how did COVID treat you over the last 2 years?
Awful. Oh, it was just horrible. Because we were doing most stuff in person, and then when we went into lockdown, I had my daughter home from school. We were trying to homeschool, and then my son was home from daycare. He was only 1, and we just couldn't pivot properly online. So it just, the business just really died, and just in the last 6 months it started to pick up again.
I've pivoted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an OnlyFans page.
Oh God. Okay.
But my OnlyFans page is just showing feet. Because there's a market for that.
Yeah.
People want to see your feet.
Do you know why that is?
Oh.
Do you know? I have a good fact.
Here we go.
Okay, so there is a part in the brain that controls your your sexual organs.
Right.
And then it sits right next to the feet. In the part of the brain in the feet. And so neurons, or however it works, get crossed over, and that's why foot fetishes are one of the most common fetishes.
There you go.
Because it's sits really close in the brain, and it often gets mixed up. There you go. I don't know why I know that.
I don't know why you know that either. If you have any questions for Kate about anything that we're going to be talking about here today, please put it in the chat. I do see them. Kate also sees them. We'll swap screens over so we can get a different perspective, because right down the bottom is that we will get your chats down there as well. So I want to start off, Kate. I'm going to start off very simple. I'm going to show you some images. You're going to look at the images. I just want your comment. I want you to be raw and honest. And just confirm with everyone here that you've never seen any of these yet. Maybe just the first one, because I wanted to show you how Touch Portal works. And then you got all excited about Touch Portal.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally steal it and use it. Yep.
And invest in it. Yeah, because it's free.
Oh, I was gonna say, God, does it cost money? Okay.
Did you just say God on Easter Monday?
No.
That's good. This is, well, you're dyslexic because you meant to say dog. You're quick. All right, what's this?
That is a bin chicken on, okay, that looks like Olympic rings, or well, like, you know, the layout of Olympic rings. I'm going to say Olympics 2032, is it in
2032,
Brisbane?
yeah, in Brisbane. Do you think it's a good contender?
Sure. I mean, bin chicken's as Brisbane as it gets, isn't it?
Okay, so we're easy start.
Yep.
All right, what do you see here?
Donkey. Seal. Oh, seal. Donkey. I don't know.
You don't see a fish?
Fish.
Do you see mermaid? Somebody just wrote, Thrashy just wrote, hang on, Thrashy just wrote, I see a picture of Elon Musk. And Unibrow just says, I'll bring these up as we go along. I always knew I wasn't wired like everyone. I hate seeing feet. All right. Chef says kangaroo. Do you see a kangaroo?
Kangaroo. No.
All right. Okay. So you see a donkey.
I see a donkey.
Okay. Well,
Like just a head.
Apparently, if you saw a fish, you would be left brain. If you saw a seal, you'd be right brain. Or a mermaid, you'd be right brain. Crazy. Anyway, I just wanted to know what you see. What colours do you see here?
Grey and teal.
Grey and teal. Yesterday when I did this, people were seeing pink.
What?
They're degenerates, by the way.
Pink?
We have around 80 people watching and 79 of them are degenerates. So that's okay. See, Art Monkey says pink.
Pink?
See?
Where's the pink? Like, what part of it's pink?
It's probably because it's feet. Oh my God. Oh, somebody just wrote...
Dump ducks.
Uh-oh. Oh my God, a shrink. It's like the G-Man's Rochard's test. It is.
I don't know what Rochard is.
Oh, well, we'll have to teach you.
Okay.
We haven't got time for it today. All right, I want to know now, what do you hear?
Embarrassing! That is 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 embarrassing!
This is embarrassing.
That is embarrassing?
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's pretty good so far. All right, so you got 10 out of 10, maybe, in this. Now we're going to get a little bit tougher. Okay. All right? And these aren't gotcha moments. I don't like doing gotcha moments.
Okay.
All right? Don't forget, I'm...
But...
No. I identify as invisible. And my pronouns are who, where. All right, see, even other people say that is embarrassing. And somebody just asked before, you know, what's the purpose of this? There's no purpose to it all. It's just something a little bit different. Invited Kate on. We had a coffee the other week. And I said, hey, what do you think about coming on? And you said, yeah. So I want to show you this photo here. So on the left-hand side is our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, affectionately known as ScoMo. Mm-hmm. And on the right-hand side was the former Australian of the Year, Grace Tame. Mm-hmm. And they're doing a ceremony which is to say, thank you, Grace Tame, for your patronage over the last year. You're going to move on, and we're now going to bring in the new Australian of the Year. Congratulations. What do you think when you see a photo like this?
I mean, I'll be straight here. I am not a ScoMo fan, not even one bit, and I'm a huge Grace Tame fan.
Right.
So I see this photo and I think good on her.
So when you say good on her for, because I'm just looking at the photo, and if that was your child, I would just say, because you've got a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, a girl and a boy?
Yep.
The youngest one is a girl?
No, my eldest is a girl. She's 8.
How do you know? How do you know she's a girl?
Well, that's what she says.
That's what she says, okay. She wasn't assigned that at birth, was she?
Yes.
Assigned it?
Yeah, but my little boy also thinks that he's a girl at the moment, and we just say, okay.
That's all right.
Because he just wants to be like his sister.
He does,
okay.
yeah. So okay, your girl is going to grow up and she's going to become Australian of the Year, and I guess, you know, there are some people that we don't like.
Yeah.
So there are people, if I don't like someone, do you outwardly show it? So I just want to know, when you see something like that, is that Is that professional for you, or do you think, no, she wanted to show the world what she thinks of her current Prime Minister?
Well, I think there's a difference between professional and political, and this is political. And if she was standing there smiling next to him, that means that she somewhat endorses his attitudes toward like her issues, and he has been disgusting with those issues. So I think that this shows a distaste for his views, his actions, and I've just got a comment here, not professional. No, it's not professional, but again, it's not meant to be professional, it's meant to be political. And if you understand the Grace Tame story, Grace Tame was raped by a teacher of hers when she was 15. And the reason that she was because she was being polite, and she was scared to say no. She was scared to do anything other than be polite. And so by being polite and just smiling next to ScoMo, that's going against everything that she stands for. She's now advocating for women to not have to just be polite. She's advocating for them to be able to say no, to be able to stand up and openly disagree with something. And I think it's sad that we need to, as women, just smile and go along with everything just because it's professional or polite. And there's a difference. Like, she wasn't openly rude, but, you know, like in terms of vocally, but I think that expression was political if it wasn't professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I'm
totally on board with that. You're totally on board with that.
Completely.
Had she achieved anything? See, my confusion with that is that, look, I'm on board with what you're saying there. You're right. It could be, you know, very politically persuaded. She had this opportunity where the world was going to take a viewpoint. But do you think she's had a year to do this? Like, she got nominated and then was awarded Australian of the Year last year. And then she had a whole year. So did you hear anything? Because my confusion is I didn't hear anything from her for the full year. Not that you have to follow someone. If you're going to be following someone, I mean, you would know. Did you follow her during the year?
I didn't follow her specifically. I don't have Instagram, which is where I know she's most active, but I obviously move in different circles in terms of, I follow a lot of like women's media and feminist kind of slanting media, I guess. And I heard a lot from her, a lot.
Somebody just wrote here, I've got this question here from Brian. Good question. If she was that upset, she should not have the photo taken with him. Would that have been more of a stand to say, you know what, I'm just going to, look, I'm going to be really political and not show up? Would that have been a bigger stand? And then that would have been more of a political statement?
Well, see, then that is the difference between being political and disrespecting what ScoMo has done in terms of actions against women, and completely disrespecting the post of Australian of the Year, which she still very much respects. And I think you can respect that and not necessarily the Prime Minister, and that's why I think she did the right thing by being there, because she still was handing over that position.
So Nevada and Montana says she's being polite. Full stop, full stop, full stop. She is. Thanks, Max. For your super chat. Max says, be right back, G-Man, got to make a salad, but I'm still listening to the show. Hi, Kate, and welcome to the Naughty Corner. Happy Easter, all cheers, Rudy. Thank you so much, Max. That's going to the Whisky. If you have any questions for Kate, put them down, we'll put them up, and Kate then can answer that for herself. How about, this one here from Rob, how about respecting the post of the Prime Minister?
That's a really interesting one. I don't know. But, you know, I look at the American situation. If people smiled when they were standing next to Trump, you know, that's kind of endorsing him as well. And I think about that image of Michelle and Obama handing over, Michelle and Barack Obama, handing over the post of president to Trump, and their faces were exactly the same. They were clearly not happy, they were clearly not endorsing, but they turned up. And I guess it's the same argument, like, why did they just not turn up? Because then I don't know. You can't win with anything political.
No, you can't. No, but it's good to get points of views because you know there are always going to be a line in the sand. People are either going to stand on the left, on the right. They're going to stand on in the water, out of the water. There's always that line in the sand. Genuinely curious, what has ScoMo done for women?
Nothing. He's got a really terrible attitude towards women. I can't name any policies specifically at the moment. I can't name anything specific. I probably should have done my research a little bit further before coming on today about specifics, but he's not a feminist.
He's not a feminist. Does he? Okay. Does he need to be a feminist to appreciate women? He's married. He's got daughters. Do you think he treats his daughters like that? Do you think he's like that with his... Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't say what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, okay. But in your eyes, you just see that he's done nothing for women. You don't like the man because of the stand that he takes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. But if you have any other questions that you like, put them on there. Teresa says this, the athlete acted immature just like Greta.
Who is the athlete?
Who's the athlete? We don't know. Ian says this, feminism isn't what it used to be. Are you a feminist?
Yeah.
You are? First wave, second wave, third wave, or the today's wave that we have? So first wave would have been like my mother. She would have just said, I want to be able to get out there and vote. I want to be able to work. I want to be able to go down the beach and wear a bikini. First wave of feminists. What we've got now is that we have these feminists, which we'll have a look at a few, that totally are against their own kind. Like they hate on their own kind. They don't like.
That's not feminist.
Okay, your definition of feminism.
That men and women are equal. Simple as that. It's not that women are better. It's just simply equal.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So they're equal. And we're talking in all aspects. So in pay rates, in sporting arenas, they're equal. So they should get the same pay. So a tennis player, let's say for example, a tennis player, Novak Djokovic, I'll name him, who plays 5 sets at Wimbledon, might get a purse if he wins of something around $2 to $3 million. And then we'll get Ash Barty, who plays in the female, she plays 3 sets. And she gets a lesser. So should they get the same amount?
I don't know. I'm not the person to be discussing sports with. I've maybe seen the most tennis I've seen is like maybe on the news for. I do not do sports at all.
Yeah, they may not. All right, let's move. So you're a climate change fanaticist?
Yeah.
So you like a bit of climate change? Unprecedented climate change has caused sea level at Sydney Harbour to rise approximately 0 centimetres over the past 140 years. The question I have for you is there climate change?
Yeah.
Is there a climate crisis?
Yes.
What's the crisis that you see?
The crisis I see is that we're going to have severe weather patterns over the next however many years. If we look at the Arctic, they've lost 80% of ice in the Arctic Circle. Again, I'm not a scientist, so I'm really hesitant to comment on things that I'm not actually an expert in. And I think, the problem with the world today is...
Tell me what the problem with the world is.
Is that there are people who are not experts who feel like they need to comment on these things, and I'm not an expert.
No, but you're concerned about your children's future.
Yeah, of course.
That's important. So when you see something, do you believe that there may be some things like cloud seeding? So we've had here in Brisbane, as you know, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Lismore, then we had these rain bombs. You ever heard of a rain bomb before? You have heard of a rain bomb?
Not before this year.
No, before this year. So all of a sudden we get these rain bombs.
Yes.
Is that natural? Do you think they're natural or they're man-made or seeding?
No, they've tried to do cloud seeding over the years and it hasn't ever worked. They haven't been able to control it. I think it was up in the north somewhere, like North Australia type way. They tried to do cloud seeding and it has gone terribly. It's like created bad weather, even though the intent was to create good rain for like farmers and crops and stuff. So
I think it's a good thing.
I think it's good if they can control it, but my understanding is that they can't actually control it yet.
That's right, not to the point that we can just go,
that they need to.
Okay, rain, too much rain.
Yeah.
We need enough rain to fill the dams up. Drought, we need to be able to hit the spots where we can grow some livestock and get some livestock to feed. You're happy with that? Because I'd be happy with that too.
Yeah.
But I think, it's maybe getting a little bit out of control. This, Jay said, he says, gee man, stop putting Kate on the spot. We all know that you're quick-witted. Do you mind being put on the spot?
I don't, but I'm not very good at thinking on my feet.
She's good at thinking on her feet. We had this conversation when we had the coffee the other day. You're quick. She's quicker than I am.
Oh,
Listen to her.
I'm quick at like comments, but not quick at like putting together a proper argument.
Oh, I get what you're saying, yeah. And that's all I want us to be sometimes, is that we just need to sit down and have a conversation, and not being able to, because you're going to have your points of views and I'll have my points of views, and then the degenerates out there will have their points of views. And as Thrashy had said there, 17 seconds is quick. Quite gone, Jim says it was global warming at first, then they realised that this will cause the next mini ice age, so they renamed it to climate change, which is amazing as climate change covers every base. Jim, don't put Kate on the spot like that, or me on the spot like that. I agree that there has been changes.
Yeah.
Like I think when, what was the next president of the United States, Al Gore, had done his TED talk or his speech.
An Inconvenient Truth, I
An
believe.
Inconvenient Truth, and we were all devastated. We all sat there and we watched it, and some would look through it and go, oh, hang on a minute, it's not that bad. See, because when I showed that photo, not her, maybe this one here, is that a misrepresentation? Because you would say, well, hang on, one could be taken at high tide and the other one could be taken at low tide.
Okay, so this is how you can manipulate data.
Show me.
We know that climate change has only really ramped up in the last kind of 30 years. Like it was discovered in, I'm going to get my numbers wrong, but like it's approximate. It was discovered in like the 60s, 70s it was confirmed, 80s they were like, shit, we actually need to do something. Oh, am I allowed to swear?
You just did.
Oh. We were, we have to do something, and then not much has happened in terms of reversing it, but the effects have only been seen in the last 30 years in terms of significant changes. So if you look over the past 140 years, and you've got maybe, a centimetre over the past 30 years, but then 0 over the past 110 before that, you average that out, of course that's going to average over just next to 0. And this is what I talk to people about, is about manipulating data, because you can make things look a lot better or a lot worse if you know how to do it. And this is what I try and teach people, is stop lying with data, because you can do it either way.
Yeah, you can. So when you saw that photo, do you think that data is lying? Because, I mean, when I look at something like that, I'll bring it up again. When I look at something like that, I could quite easily say, well, hang on a minute. The days of Photoshop are here. We know we can do all that. But also there is high tide and low tide mark. And I'm looking at the photo on the right-hand side, and it does look like that there is a watermark about 3 or 4 bricks up from that. You can see that quite clearly, can't you? So that could be at low tide. But then you look at the photo on the other side. So I don't know. See, and again, like you say, we want the truth, isn't it? We want the truth to be out there. I've got one more comment here and we might move on. Free Thought Domain says, no, climate change has been happening since the Earth began. The last 1,000 years are the most stable. So I guess Free Thought Domain has done his own or her own research. But again, we want to know, how do you back that up?
Yeah. And I think, am I going to listen to a guy on the internet who makes a comment, or am I going to listen to, so the person that I most listen to is Dr. Karl Kruszelnicki.
Okay, Kruszelnicki.
Do you know Dr. Karl?
I do, yep. He thinks that if you flush the toilet and you have your toothpaste or your toothbrush near the toilet, that the...
Yeah, that's been proven.
It has it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stop brushing my teeth in the toilet then.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Karl.
Yeah, Dr. Karl is quite a prominent figure in the climate change discussion, and I listen to a lot of his stuff, and that's who I'm going to listen to, is a scientist who actually can understand research and can understand how to interpret data and scientific data.
Do you think there may be just 2 sets of scientists? There is your scientists and there's the other people's scientists. So there'll be other scientists that will just go, I totally disagree with what Carl's saying, what Dr. Carl's saying, even though he's a scientist.
You can't disagree with science, though.
I'm glad you said that. No, I'm glad you said that, because we're going to look at all aspects of science here, not only the climate scientists, but we're going to also look at biological science, and we'll have a look at, maybe even the COVID science, if we've got some time to do that. Because I just think, there are two sets of scientists. There are the science, there's really the science that you want to hear. Because there's the science that you want to hear. Was there a comment just here? You cannot stop climate change, just as you can't stop the poles from swapping every 200,000 years. So the question there, I think the statement there is, Rob says this, and we'll get back onto that one. Rob says science is a disagreement.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's the thing. Science constantly does try to question itself. It
evolves, yeah.
It does evolve, and when there is disagreement, then science is okay to look at that and go, how do we try and disprove our theory? And it's constantly trying to disprove itself.
So going back to free thought, who you said, are you going to listen to some guy on the internet? It could be a woman. Yes, you can, because science is never settled. It is a belief if you can't question it.
Yeah, I get that, but again, it's about choosing who you listen to, and
Correct. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's who you listen to.
Yeah, okay, I got what you're saying. But again,
like we said before, we said this earlier, you're going to sit on one side of the line, you're going to sit on the left, you're going to sit on the right, you're going to sit, the line is drawn in the sand always. And this is the good thing, that you and I could have this discussion. We may not agree on everything, but you've got, what's that old saying? I may not agree with everything that you say, but God damn it, I'm going to give you the right to say it. And I think that's where the free speech is that when it becomes destructive, when conversation becomes destructive, and I then turn to you and I go, who the hell do you think you are? Which is what we find as a communication expert. You find what happens a lot is that people shut down. So the opportunity for you to say, well, I believe this because I've done my research in this, but if somebody came up against you, would you then go into combat with them, or would you then just go, hang on a minute, I hear what you're saying there, I just need a bit more information? Because this is the problem that we're having nowadays, is that we're getting no one who wants to sit down and have this open forum conversation. Not no one, but the people who you want to sit with. I mean, I know, and you must know, there are some people who are the opposite spectrum to who you are, but they're still your friends. Right. But they just won't bring those up as topics.
Yeah.
So I guess when we talk about something here, it makes it very difficult, to listen to. So one more, and then we'll move on to another topic. Science is only as good as the testing performed, the data gathered, and how one interprets it. There is a flaw. Now, you're the data expert, so you can see that there would be, when you're presenting data, that you can manipulate the data. For example, I can say that, here's some data, that there is 4% unemployment. And that 4% unemployment over the last 2 years is that a lot of people have lost businesses, they've lost employment, they weren't able to work because of the COVID situation. So that employment rate probably went to about 9%. I think it was about 9% unemployment. And then from 9%, we then say there's a 4% unemployment, or 5%. So really there wasn't any increase. What there was is that people are just going back to work. So there was no decrease in unemployment. People were just going back to work, is what was happening. So there's a manipulation of data, and that's why it gets really tough. Last one here, and then we'll move. There is so much money in climate change. If they reverse their opinions based on fact, they would lose all that funding. Scientists would lose their jobs.
Yeah. I don't know how the science community works, but what you said earlier has really made me think. Like you said, you choose who you listen to, and I was like, oh, that's actually a good point. Something that I'm very passionate about is that I can't stand when people say, I've done my research, because unless you are trained in research, I'm not trained in how to interpret data. I'm a data analyst.
Yeah.
I am trained to interpret financial data. and like corporate data, I am not trained in how to interpret scientific data and like climate data. And it really concerns me when people who have done their research don't actually know how to do research, and they don't know how to interpret research. So I'm very careful that I will listen to scientists because they are trained in that.
Okay.
And not, I mean, because you can say the same thing about, you know, like, are you a flat earther? Do you believe the earth is
Hell,
flat?
the earth is as flat as they come.
I thought so.
No. Of course not. No, I'm not.
But
I mean,
why not?
Sorry?
Why not? Why don't you have an open mind about that?
Oh, I've got an open mind about it.
Okay.
I think all I need is that I need the proof, and I've been given the proof that the earth is not flat, that the earth is a globe.
Okay.
Or more like, I'm not going to say egg shape, but it's not a physical round body. It's not a flat earth.
Where does it bulge?
Sorry?
Where does it bulge then?
How do you mean where does it? But since we bought a pump, since the invention of a pump.
So when you say it's not round, what is
Yes.
it?
Oh, Kate, do we have to go through this again?
Oh, I know the answer. Again, I say
I know the answer. Give me the answer.
Well, it's the equator, because that's where like it spins, and that's like the tides are much.
There is no equator.
Oh, okay. Yep.
The earth is flat. So does that mean, Lee just says this, so does that mean that if you're not a biologist, you can't define woman? I don't know. We're about to find out. All right, let's move on to something else. I think this is great. And by the way, you were corrected. I need to go back to the correction because somebody had written, I can't find it now, but somebody had written, it's not data, it's data. Something like that.
All right.
We don't believe them anyway. All right. So what do you see here? Fill in the gap.
Women.
Sorry. E.
Women. Are you looking for me to put X or something?
Yes.
Oh, I knew you would. Okay.
Why E?
Women. I don't know. It was the first thing I saw.
Oh, okay. Not A. Whoa, man. So of course there define woman.
Okay.
What is a woman?
Okay, this is the gotcha question.
There's no gotcha here.
No, this is 100% the gotcha question at the moment.
At the
Every
moment.
politician all over the world gets asked this question.
Yeah.
And no matter how you answer it, it is going to be wrong, and it is going to irritate people.
Wait, let me just pull back.
There is no correct answer.
It is going to be, so no matter how you answer it, it is going to be wrong. Do you mean, you're going to have a personal view, so your personal view is going to be wrong? Is that what you're saying? Or do you think how somebody else wants to interpret it? Again, the science. So they're going to do their own research, and their science is going to be able to say, well, hang on, Kate's wrong. Whatever you're going to say, you're wrong because they know better? Or is it, because we want to go science again, we're going to go biology this time? This isn't a gotcha question.
This is not something that I know much about in terms of like the science of biology, or the science of like gender.
Well, gender and sex are two different things,
Very different
correct?
things.
Yeah. How many genders are there? That's not a gotcha question, but that's obviously...
Infinite.
So yes, I can identify as who, where.
Like man, woman.
That's sex. Male, female.
Yeah, okay. Male, female.
Yeah. So gender would be
It's like anywhere.
LGB, RSVP, ABC.
Oh, that's sexual orientation, isn't it?
Well, that's gender. That's how they identify.
It's not. No, that's not gender. That's sexual orientation.
Okay, so the orientation then is what?
Who you are attracted to.
Okay, so gay, lesbian, trans is what they're attracted. It's not who they identify as. So if I say I'm trans, so I'm attracted, does that mean? I don't know. No, I'm asking. This is not a gotcha question.
No.
Somebody just wrote, I'm not a linguistics professional. Yes. Eric says this, and it's not that hard. It says, woman XX, man XY, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Let me give you your voice, though. I want to give you your voice.
Yeah.
I don't want to... If you think this is a gotcha question, it's not. It's just... This is... When you give your response, I'll give you my response. But I'm truly interested in how you would define a woman.
I don't know. Like, if you ask me, do I identify as a woman? Yes, I do, very much.
You identify as a woman, or you are a woman?
I would say I am a woman. Yeah.
Okay. What makes you a woman?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that's how I feel. It's how I've always felt. I don't have any sort of discrepancy between how I feel, how I look. I mean, I'm also a very feminine woman. You know, I like jewelry and makeup and hair, and like I like all the classically women things.
So jewelry, makeup, and hair defines you as a woman.
No.
But that's what you just said. I like all the womanly things: jewelry, makeup,
no,
and hair.
I like all the classically feminine things.
So you
stereotypically.
You're a woman.
Yes, I am.
And you are a woman.
Yes.
And your children, you're going to allow them to identify as what they want in later life?
Yeah.
So right now your boy, you said your young boy thinks he's a girl.
Yeah, because he just wants to be like his sister.
Yeah, I get that.
He dresses up in all the princess dresses and all that.
I get that. But it's no big deal. No big deal. What are you looking at? Did somebody just write this one here?
Yeah.
A woman, let me just read that one out. Karen Van Ness says, a woman is an adult human female. The anatomy of the chromosomes differ from a man. Being an adult human male, not so difficult. Because why do you think politicians are having a hard time just to answer that?
Because you're going to alienate people no matter how you answer it.
But you've got to have a stand, don't you? If you're going to stand for something. So you just said Grace Tame earlier on stands for something. So if she was asked that question, then that would mean that she would stand for something, and then anyone that would... Yeah, and so if she then has her opinion, that's what she stands for. So do you think that the politicians don't have a backbone, that they can't make the answer, they can't say the answer?
Someone like Grace Tame, I identify with some of her issues. I can actually properly relate. I cannot relate to not feeling like I fit in my body. I don't have that experience. I don't have close friends or family who have that issue. It's not something that I can properly relate to. But I know that there are people in the world who have that real discrepancy over how they look, like their body versus their mind. I think we are very lucky. I would hate to have that discrepancy. That would be an awful thing to have to deal with in your life. It would be awful.
So this comment here, gender identity is not the same as sexual orientation.
Correct.
Correct. Somebody just apologised to you. We have no idea why, but just says, sorry, Kate. This one here says you will get burned by the cancel crowd. That is what they prefer, to keep it vague.
Well, that's it, because I think what we're lacking, again, the problem with the world today, is what we're lacking is nuance.
Okay.
We're lacking the ability to have these nuanced discussions, and I'm seeing some of the comments are like, it's just this, it just is.
Yeah.
And I can see that I've made some comments that are like, you know, climate change is real. I'm making the same kind of blanket black and white.
I know what you're saying.
Comments as well, and I think that there is nuance and there is, you know, finer points to these discussions.
Why does she call her kids a girl and a boy? Why does Kate call? Because that's...
that is their sex, and I mean, I've given them, again, classically female and classically male names. If my son turns around in however many years and says, actually, I really feel like I'm a woman, okay, we navigate that then. And again, I don't know my reaction to that. I don't know how that's going to look, because that will be a completely new experience that we're going to have to navigate together.
Of course.
I hope that doesn't happen, purely because I think that would be a really hard...
sad thing.
Yeah.
Look, I get that. Yeah, people are going to develop into their own self. But do you think, now that your boy is feeling like a girl because he wants to emulate his sister and he looks up to his sister, would that make you then go, okay, he's obviously feeling like a girl, we should start to transition him?
No, because he's 3 and he doesn't have... You've got to make a choice at some point on what you do allow your children to dictate and what you don't allow them to dictate. You know, if they want to drink orange juice instead of water, no, I'm not going to allow that.
Well, we're not talking orange juice and water. I think we're talking something that I think is And we're going to have a look at a couple of clips because I want you to have a look at the clips and go, what do you think about that? Because I think it's important. So one here, I've got this, people have periods. So what do you see in this photo here? You would have seen this.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to be politically incorrect here, but this looks like people who were born as female who have transitioned to male and they still have a uterus and are probably still having periods.
So, but the question up there, or the statement there says people have periods, which means I'm a people. Can a male have a period?
People have brown eyes. You're a people. You don't have brown eyes.
Okay, we're splitting hairs here now.
Are we?
Yeah, we are. So let's have
Again, you're looking for a very black and white answer.
Well, I am. I'm looking at okay. Can men have periods?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
Again, I don't have the experience. I don't have that language properly.
Your husband, can he have a period?
No, because he is a man and he identifies as a man and he hasn't transitioned from a female body.
But if he was to transition to a female body, could he have a period?
Again, we're getting confused between sex and gender.
Okay.
Gender is very different from sex. These people, maybe their sex is female, but their gender is male.
Okay. Let's have a listen to this.
Important things to remember. Not everyone who has a period is a woman, and not every woman has a period. Period. Accept it, move on. It's good advice. But also, to my fellow trans women out there, you should never try to shame a woman with a period into being grateful if they have one by saying something like, "You're so lucky. If I were you, I'd be so happy." You're not them. You don't have a right to speak for them, and it's not your job. But also, cis women, please stop telling trans women or women without periods in general if they're lucky they don't have to deal with it. That is really insensitive and cruel in some cases. Let's just all agree to be civil and polite about this and
I agree with
have
that.
kind of conversation with grace and not make it some snide remark. Cool. But everyone, you should make sure that you're comfortable kind of saying the word period out loud and being in a conversation about periods because it's a perfectly normal thing. And the taboo that society has on it is really important thing.
Okay. So I agree with the premise that we should just be polite to each other. So my stance on this is very biological.
Okay.
A man is an adult male.
Okay.
Okay? And an adult male cannot have a period. That's my clear stance. An adult male
I disagree,
with a penis, a male with a penis.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Okay, so a person with a uterus can have a period. A person without
is more likely to have a period than a man with a penis.
Again, you're talking sex versus gender. You keep bringing it back to sex.
I want to do that.
But sex and gender are different.
I know that, but I'm just asking here what they're trying to tell us is that they're trying to say this, that all people can have periods, men and women. So let's have a look. I'll look at this comment here. The problem is that it is black and white, and only modern medicine has blurred the lines, and the weak-minded are running with it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's only since the last 40, 50 years is that we're starting to blur the lines between what a man is and what a woman was, or what a woman is.
Because we're learning and understanding more.
That there are different.
Yeah.
That there are different. So you mentioned something earlier on about if I feel like a different gender, if I feel more attracted to a woman, then my gender would be gay or lesbian. No, it's just you feel more attracted.
Sexual attraction, gender and sex, 3 completely separate things.
Okay. Can a man get pregnant?
I know someone who is a man, and to look at him, to talk to him, you would 100% say, yes, this is a man. Like,
Yep.
What's going on beneath his clothes? And he recently had a baby. This is not again, I think it's really unfair to discuss something that we don't have experience with. Like, I don't have a period. Does that make me not a woman?
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking that.
But only men don't have periods.
Sorry?
But I thought only men don't have periods.
No. I said more likely earlier on. I said women are more likely to have a period.
Okay.
Because I understand, the difference, and I understand the nuances. But when I see something like this, do you think this is real?
Yeah.
So obviously she's had a breast reduction, or she's had a mastectomy, because you can tell by the scar.
Yeah.
That would be a fair comment. And she's then transitioned, so she would still have a uterus. Mm-hmm. So she identifies as a man, but is a woman.
Her sex is a woman.
Is a woman. Okay.
Her gender, his gender, is a man.
Right.
And who are we to say what he can and cannot identify as?
No. I'm not saying he can identify as, or she. I think we should get it right. Is he identifying?
Let's say they, to keep it.
Keep it. If they are identifying, I have no problem with them saying that they identify as a man. I have no problem with that at all. I think it's when we get down to the biological sense, is that why we open up the question is, what is a woman? And we're finding it so hard to define what a woman is. And you're saying, okay, sexual orientation, sexual identity, and biological sex are totally different things. I get that. But because you feel like one doesn't necessarily mean that you are one. Like, you might feel...
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
I might feel...
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have the experience.
I know.
And I think it's really unfair if we don't have that experience to make these comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's unfair.
Okay. Yeah. Don't have the experience. Yeah, I'm baffled by it, that's all. I'm just baffled by it. Maybe it's just...
And look, and I have been baffled by it as well. And if you'd asked me about this 10 years ago, I would have had a completely different stance. Like, I probably would have been much more on your side here.
Oh, I don't have a side.
Oh, no, your side of the fence.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But as I've learned more and I've had more exposure to these kinds of people, I don't have close exposure. Like I said, I don't have close friends. I have periphery friends, but I don't have close friends. I don't have family. But as I've had slightly more exposure and I've heard from people who have really struggled with it, when I say heard from, I've listened to podcasts and stuff where they talk about it.
That's good.
I've started to change my view enough that I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't have a complete opinion yet. And I think we don't need to have a hard opinion on everything. I think it's okay to say, I actually don't know.
Do you think this is allowed? So on the left-hand side...
again, someone said she's confused. Yeah, I'm totally confused.
I think we're all... No, seriously.
And I think that's okay.
That is okay. And I think this is why. And I said to Kate earlier on today, before we got on, I said, this isn't a gotcha moment. I just want your true opinions about things. Just tell the truth is what it is. And if you're thinking that I'm trying to set her up, it's not about that. It's about what your thoughts are at the time. If I was sitting here and you were asking me these questions. So we have here, on the left-hand side is Leah Thomas. On the right-hand side is William Thomas. So William Thomas transitioned into a woman again. He still has a penis. He's competing in the, I think, college games.
Oh, is this the swimmer?
This is a swimmer.
Yeah. Oh.
And she, let's call him she, and she is blitzed the field. So that's one. Then we have this person here. This is Lauren Hubbard. So New Zealand weightlifter. Transition from male to female, blitzed the field. But competes in a woman's arena.
I gotta say, I'm really uncomfortable with this because while yes, I believe gender is something that is more how we feel. I believe that there is a very clear difference between the sex of men and women. And I've got a boy, I've got a girl. They are so different. Like I am trying to not have freaking Hot Wheels cars. But he is just drawn to that. And I believe that in terms of sex, there is a very clear difference. So I have to say, this makes me uncomfortable.
Can I go back to your comment? You just said,
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard not to get him a Hot Wheel car. Is that like one of those cars?
Oh, it's just those little cars. And
you don't want to get him one?
Oh, no, only because I hate them. And I was like, I'm not going to have the type of boy that's got cars and trucks and weapons.
Why not?
Only because I hate it.
Okay,
That's
let's go away from weapons, because we can't have weapons here. Well, we can have a knife and
My
we can have a
house
club.
is full of weapons.
Okay, even better.
I don't want it to be.
So you don't want. So your child wants a hot rod car because he might end up being an F1 Formula One driver, but you'd rather give him something that is a lot less placid. So you're coaching him into a narrative that you want him to fit into.
I have tried, yes.
You're trying to. So, but you don't
Purely
want to
from my preferences. I hate cars.
Yeah.
And sports.
How
and
did you
stuff.
get here today? I'm only kidding.
I hate I don't want to play cars.
Okay. All right. But you want to sway him in a way that says, I want you to be more of a data analyst than I want you to be riding hot rod cars and getting on a motorbike and revving down the road.
I don't care what he's like when he's older. I just didn't want trucks in my house, just because I don't like them. But he loves them, and he's asked for them, and we've got them for him because that's what he wants, and that's what he plays with the most, and that's okay.
That's okay.
I believe, I could be proven wrong, but I believe he will be a male boy forever. I believe that.
Yeah.
Again, when he hits 15, maybe we'll have a different issue, but I don't see that happening at the moment.
All right. So, I mean, that was Lauren. And then we've got this is the British cyclist. I think Rachel McKinnon, the British cyclist. Again, same sort of thing. Blitzes the field. And the last one there is...
It makes me uncomfortable.
And
it
this
really
one
does.
here is our own Mounsey, I think it is. Hannah Mounsey.
No. You're asking me about sports again.
I am, but okay. The only reason I want to ask you about sport is, do you think it's fair? So with all those,
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't. Okay. It makes me really uncomfortable because again, this is now you're talking about sex, and boys, like males, do have different hormones. They do have.
Yeah.
They are stronger, and generally, the muscle makeup is different, so it makes me really uncomfortable.
One more mum says, women will get hurt with those men pretending.
I find it really difficult to disagree with that. Yeah.
Let's go with this. At Sean to be, the thing is you don't know what you are until you start to hit puberty, not at birth. It's not assigned at birth. It's a good conversation though, isn't it? So this is a round table conversation where more people can jump in. And I'm glad you've got your viewpoint where you say this makes me really uncomfortable. It should make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To think that a man can just jump into a woman's sport because he feels like a woman and then says, well, I am now a woman. So this is now... So you think maybe we should have the sex games? We should have the biological sex games, the biological...
Oh, I don't know the answer.
You don't? Okay.
I don't know the answer, no.
Do you think we should have a trans game? We have a disabled game.
Okay.
We have a disabled game. We're allowed to disable. I will allow...
Sure, why not?
Yeah. I will allow a female and a male to compete together in chess.
Okay. I think... Maybe you're right. Maybe there should be a people games, and if you want to, whatever you identify as, you can compete in that. But if you just want to compete in women's sport, maybe you have to be biologically female. Don't know. Maybe that's the answer.
A gendered game.
Maybe a gender game.
A gendered game.
Hang on. No.
No, a sexual orientation game.
No.
Sex. A sex game.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good game, actually.
Sex game.
Let's have it.
That's a different thing entirely.
Oh, it is. I don't know what this one says. Men compete to the death. Women don't compete that way. Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that. All right. This is hard. So we'll move on to another topic now. So COVID vaccines are now available for 5 to 11-year-olds in England. Some 5 million children in the country are now eligible to have the low-dose vaccine. I don't want to know about your preference where it comes to getting yourself or your family vaccinated, but I look at this, and what are your thoughts with something like that?
What do you mean? What are my thoughts?
They now have got a vaccine available for a 5-year-old. So the COVID vaccine is available.
So both of my kids have had like a heap of vaccines from
COVID
birth.
vaccine. Yeah, COVID vaccine.
Why is that any different to any other vaccine?
I'm just asking you, do you think the COVID vaccine is something that should be dished out to a 5 to 11-year-old? That's just a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't see it as any different to any other vaccine.
Okay.
I vaccinated my kids against chickenpox and
Yes.
measles, mumps, rubella, not smallpox anymore.
Okay.
That's not a
Polio.
required vaccine. Polio,
If they go
COVID,
overseas, yellow fever,
yellow fever,
flu shot.
flu. Yeah, we get flu shots.
I think the concern here is that the one vaccine, so you would have had and maybe you got a booster for chickenpox or mumps or rubella. You may have had a little booster for it, but now we're up to number 4. So do you
Number
think?
4?
Well, the 4 vaccines. We need now 4 vaccines of COVID. The COVID vaccine.
We need a flu every year.
You don't need it. It's optional for us. It's
Do I believe in mandated vaccines? No.
Okay. No, you don't believe in mandating it, but you believe that maybe it's a good idea to get a 5-year-old to have a vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 4.
Yeah.
But do you think? Because I think my confusion is that if it had been 1, I would have gone, okay, 1 sounds fair. It's a vaccine. But then there was 2. It's like that was we need the extra shot. And then there was the booster. And now we've got the second booster. So we're now up to 4. And I know what you're saying about the flu shot. That's optional. It's not like that's mandated. But again, as somebody wrote here, it's not a vaccine, and it is hard. Not a clue.
No. Someone said she's not done her research on this topic. No, because I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, on this topic either. And she is willing to give it to her babies.
Yeah, because at some point I need to trust people who are in those positions. And my doctor,
Yes.
who has been to medical school for many, many years,
Yeah.
said you should get your babies vaccinated against polio,
Yes.
etc.
Etc.
And then she said to me, I think you should get them vaccinated against COVID. Okay.
Okay.
At some point you need to hand that trust over to someone who you believe has more knowledge. And this is how society works. We don't have everybody trying to learn everything and know everything. You've got to have people who specialise and who understand.
No, Spin says this. I don't know about this because I'm not in medical school. Brainwashed in medical school for many, many years.
Yep.
Don't know. We're nearly out of time. I wanted to. I wanted to go on a little bit. Have you got some more time? I mean, they can go. They can all. They can all go. They want to watch Tucker Carlson. Let's bring up a question. She's hating him for getting into this. He didn't tell her his. You know my views.
Oh no, I knew your views.
Oh,
None of this surprises me in the slightest.
There's no secret here. We've known each other for a long, long time. So no, there's no views. You know that.
Interested in David Sharp. There's risk with all vaccines.
Where's David Sharp?
Stop.
This one?
Yep. There's risk with all vaccines. I agree. Absolutely there are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No one's disputing that. I'm not saying they're 100% safe.
Art Monkey says this: kids aren't dying of COVID. Again, we don't know.
Did I hear? I think you might be right. They're not necessarily dying of COVID. Not dying of smallpox either.
Gerald, you're missing out on some super chats. Oh, did I? Who was this? Rob. Okay, Rob. Thank you so much, Rob. It is different because it hasn't had the years of testing like other vaccines. I think that's the confusion that I have also. It normally takes 7 to 9 years to develop a vaccine. Some people will, of course, write on here and say, oh no, they've been developing this now for the last 10 years. But how do they know that we're going to get this COVID coming 10 years down the track?
It's just a coronavirus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a coronavirus. Yeah. Correct.
My understanding, again, I don't actually really know. My understanding is that often it takes a lot of funding, which hasn't been an issue this time. And also the groups have been very small, whereas now they've literally tested on billions of people. I don't know how correct that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to have these conversations.
Yeah.
I love it. Not every vaccine has years of testing. We should separate the trans sports from male and women's sports and let them have their own games. Guaranteed that the female trans will complain about the male's trans being stronger than them. Probably. Yeah, we're never going to get this right. Quite Gone Jim says, I never had a vaccine where I have had boosters every year. Never had more than one polio jab or more than one MMR, measles, mumps, rubella. Yeah, yep. I think that's the confusion with most people, is that in their own research they're saying, I may have just to have one shot and that's done, I'm done with that. And I think the confusion for me is that why are we up to 4? Like, because I've heard that it wanes, it's not very good, it's not very strong. So if I have to have one and then I maybe have to have the 2 as a top up, then the booster, does that mean it's waned over 6 months and now so if I've got one in October, I should have had my 3rd one. And then now some people are getting their 4th one. So for people who are immune compromised, I think absolutely they should do what is best.
Yep.
So then my question for you is that you did this because your doctor gave you the advice, even though you're not immune compromised, or she thought, or he thought you were. Yeah. Hey, you've got comorbidities, and it's probably a good idea that you have this vaccine.
Yeah, and over the years I've developed trust with her, and so I trusted what she said, and I've got a lot of friends who won't vaccinate their kids, and that's okay. I'm not gonna get upset at them. I'm not gonna think that they're less or anything. That's okay. Yeah. That was the decision that I made. Yeah.
Oh, the world is spinning around so fast.
I reckon you should get a scientist on here to actually discuss. They won't come on here.
They actually won't come on here. I know of a scientist.
Okay.
He lives on the Gold Coast. Said no way. He's not going to tarnish his reputation. I said, but you're going to put your point of view forward. It's your point of view, not mine. I'm just going to ask you some questions, and they won't come on here. They won't.
Okay.
And I think that's what the difficulty is. Why won't they? Like when you get other people, like say for example, you get the Dr. Robert Malone's, you get the Dr. Peter McCulloch, you get the Dr. Brian Artis, Simone Gold. You get those doctors who are scientists who are saying totally opposite to what you and maybe even what I'm thinking, but they're now coming up with things like, have you seen the documentary called Water? Have you heard about the vaccine? If you get a snake bite, what do you normally have? You have an anti-venom for the snake bite. Look further into that. And so then you look at that documentary and you just go, wow, this is blowing my mind. I don't know where I'm going with all this. So I think my question would be to anyone like the Bakersfield's doctors, any of the doctors who were once, Dr. Vernon Cole.
I don't know any of these names.
But I think that's the issue. The issue is that you're listening to maybe a doctor who's on mainstream media. Maybe, I don't know. Or who you might be searching, or somebody sends you something and you look at that. So the names that I mentioned are not on YouTube. They go, I don't know who these people are, because they've been taken off YouTube. For the simple fact that I might be even mentioning those names would get me, now this video will be copyright strike. And it's like you've mentioned some people who aren't allowed to be on YouTube. So they've been silenced on Twitter, they've been silenced on Facebook, they've been silenced on YouTube, they've been silenced on Twitch. So my question is, why are they being silenced? Like, if they have an opinion, it's their opinion or their scientific opinion. If they have that, it would make a lot more sense to me. Would she have come to the same decision in vaccinating her kids if she knew doctors were limited in the discussion of COVID vaccines? So if your doctor, by APRA, is it APRA? So that's the Australian health professionals. Yeah. If I go to my doctor and I say, look, I just need a exemption, so I can go back to work. He says can't give you one.
Okay.
So why can't he?
I don't know. I don't know.
But that's what I'm asking, is that if they can't, is it because that they know that their careers are in jeopardy if they start mentioning it, and they'll be struck off. So my little brain says to me, if you're being silenced and you can't give Gerald an exemption because of something that he can't possibly have because of my health, because well, I don't want to get into it, but those people who know is that I can't give you an exemption. Why not? Is it because if I give you an exemption based on what you're telling me and what I know your record says, is I'll be struck off the list and I won't have a career anymore. So that's where my confusion is that your doctor will just go, oh yes, I'm just going to give it. You just need to take it. You just need to do that. So I think that's where the difficulty lies. That's all. Makes it hard. It was easier when we did this. Do you see any questions up there you want to... yeah, I think that's a question too, is that why did Pfizer want to hide the data for 75 years? It's so hard. What does this say? Doctors just practice medicine. They are not the final answer. Don't ask for an exemption if you're not entitled to it. That's hard. Josh says they have strict guidelines to follow and every exception is investigating because of the doctors in Victoria writing them out for families and friends that just wanted them. Yes, some would just be writing them out. I don't agree with that. I mean, in years gone by, you would be able to, I'm feeling a little bit sick, doc. I don't want to go to work today, and they just write you out a doctor's certificate. They go, here's a pad, you can fill out your own.
And this is the problem. And this is the problem with every discussion that we've had today. There will always be people who abuse the system. There will always be people who ruin it for everyone.
Yep.
And create these kinds of extreme views. Either way, like good or bad, right wing or left wing.
And I think when it comes to
sucks.
I mean, extreme views are so, when somebody just shuts you down. I just have questions is all I have. So I don't have the answer. If I had the answer, I wouldn't be on here because, I'd be using my intelligence for using it for the good, not for just asking questions. And so that's why when I asked you the question, it's just not. They're not gotcha moments. They're just like I want to know how you feel about these things. What Stefan says here, if you strictly mandate stuff, people will try to find a way around it. They will.
They will, absolutely. Yeah.
You've probably got friends who are not vaccinated, who have probably downloaded the false vaccination certificate. I mean, I won't do that.
Yep.
I won't do that. And the reason why I won't do that, because I believe strongly in, why would I want to do that? Because then I'm just cheating the system, which I'm then saying I'm
kind of endorsing the system.
Endorsing the whole
system. I don't know.
Margaret,
and that's the thing.
Margaret says, Gmail, check your chats. I'm trying to. It's just so fast.
And I think it needs to be okay to have these conversations, and it needs to be okay not to just say that things are absolutely one way or another. And when I'm taking these kinds of stances, that's when when I'm saying I actually don't know, that's when you're getting the kind of comments like, oh, it's inviting an idiot to work day. We need to be able to have these conversations.
And I think you're having a great conversation. And I said to everyone, you're sitting very different in the spectrum to where I am. But again, I think, what was one of our earlier conversation about animals in cages, like zoos?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that I think you had said. I don't even know how that conversation had started. It was years ago. You said something about, I'm going to take the kids to the zoo, or your little girl. And I said, I hate zoos.
That's right. I can't remember how it started, but we ended up having a conversation about zoos, and I was, zoos are great. Zoos do all these great things, and you completely changed my perspective on that. Completely.
The only reason I say I changed a perspective was because my belief is that if you want to go and see an elephant or a giraffe or a rhino, go to Africa. That's all I said. Yeah. But the same way as I would like to see an indigenous person from the Sentinel Islands or a pygmy. So we should probably get those people, put them in cages so that we can get our children to have a look and go, oh, look, there's a pygmy. You'll never see one of those in Australia. So that was my only view. So there are other views with hunting and trophy hunting, which are very different. I've been an animal in a zoo for the last year due to COVID mandates. Sometimes
but it feels like that, doesn't it?
Last one, and we might move on. It took 23 years to develop the polio. Smallpox, chickenpox, polio have been around for hundreds of years, and they just got a vaccination in the 1950s and 60s for those as well. COVID of 1.5 years. Brian says, your problem, Kate, is that you're too trusting.
Oh, that's 100% my problem. I have that issue constantly. Constantly, I'm too trusting, and
That's not a bad thing. Trust is a good thing. You've got to be able to trust, but I think what comes with trust is it comes with questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes with questions. Is, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing this? Am I doing the right thing for my child? And we'll only find out what the right thing is years down the track. Like many
100%.
years, 15 years, 20 years down the track, when we can just be able to go, wow, Chef says this, Kate, thank you. You're really trying. And look, really trying isn't, you're speaking from the heart, is the difference between having something scripted. And all I want to do is I want to give Kate this opportunity. And here's what will happen is that you may walk away and I may walk away and both of us will have a different viewpoint. And what will happen is we might do this in 3 months' time and go, hey, let's carry on from where we left off. What's changed with both of us?
Yep.
Right, because I think that's the beautiful thing is about saying, hey, hang on a minute, Kate changed my perspective on this. I was so wrong when it came to this. Maybe I need to, so I just need...
and this is what I said at the very beginning. I said, in my 20s, I could have confidently answered who I am. Now, I'm unsure. And I'm sure that answer will be different again in 10 years. I hope that I'm a different person when I'm 45 versus 35. I know that I'm a very different person now than at 25.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm not the same person. And I hope that you're not the same person in another 10 years.
Oh, totally. I'll be an old, decrepit degenerate like all these people watching here. I'll be on this. You need to... What does this say? You need BTO question everything. Come on, you're younger than I. What's BTO?
So can I tell you a story? This is one that I actually use in my data storytelling training. So back in, God, am I going to get this years right? The 1740s in Vienna, there was this maternity hospital, and this maternity hospital had 2 wards. There was one ward that was run by doctors, and there was one ward that was run by midwives. And women would come to have their babies at this hospital, and they basically just split them 50-50 whether you were going to get a doctor or midwife. And women would literally stop and have their babies on the street rather than going to the clinic that had the doctors, because the mortality rate, the rate of people dying in the doctor's ward, was up to about 33%. So 1 in every 3 women would die. And so there was this man, Ignaz Semmelweis. He was this Austrian doctor. He was head of doctoring in the hospital. And he decided to look into why the mortality rate was so different. In the maternity ward, the mortality rate was around 7%.
Okay.
So hugely smaller. I mean, we're still talking the 1740s, so medicine's totally different. And women would just kill to be let into the midwives. So this Dr. Ignaz, he went around and he looked at all of the data and was trying to work out why it was so different. And then he watched a colleague of his do an autopsy. And then this colleague nicked himself with a scalpel doing the autopsy.
Right.
And then he died.
Right.
And the way that this man died was very similar to how all these women were dying in the doctor's surgery. And then he watched as the doctors went from autopsies straight over to delivering babies.
Okay.
And he thought, maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
And so he implemented this mandate that all doctors should wash their hands between going from autopsies and birthing babies.
Makes sense.
Immediately, the mortality rate dropped to 0. So when you look at the data,
that's good.
Absolutely,
it
made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And he was ridiculed by the medical profession because doctors were gentlemen, and gentlemen did not have dirty hands. And so he was actually put into an insane asylum where he died about 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
Ironically, from the same thing, from bedside fever. And so I look at this and I think, just because you've got the data on something, just because you've got this belief, not everyone's going to accept it. So I totally accept that there are views out there that everyone, disagrees with, maybe most people disagree with, and they might be correct. So this is why someone said before, you have to question, and I do try to question, and this is why I'm not absolutely on one side or the other. because you've got to question and you've got to accept that maybe there is another side to the story.
Did you question your doctor?
No, I didn't, because I'm not.
Yeah. But then those women who were sitting outside and they're going, no, I'm not going to go to a doctor because I can see the mortality rate.
Yeah.
They made their own mind up and say, I'm going to the midwife. So then of course, then there was some investigation done, as you were saying, to the Austrian doctor who went from autopsy to giving birth. There was some investigation done, and they could see that this is what was happening. So what you've done, and as somebody had written earlier on before, is that you're just too trusting. So you go in there and your doctor had said, I think you should just get it, and you go, okay. Which is like the birthing women who are going, well, they're a doctor, you should just go in there. Oh, okay. But they made their mind up because they had some data.
Yeah, data.
They had some data.
It's the accent.
Which was different. So that's what, and I like how you say, we just got to question a lot of things. And,
we do.
And it gets...
It's interesting you said, like, did you question your doctor? No, I didn't. Should I maybe have? Maybe. So, again, am I too trusting? Maybe.
Here's what somebody wrote. Alan, thank you so much for your super chat. Thank you. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose. And don't touch your face.
Oh, I touch my face a lot. Yeah, it's terrible.
It's me. I like touching my face. It's my face. I'll let anyone touch my face. Did anyone eat their Easter egg chocolate today? Do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything for me? It's always hard. Now I put you on the spot.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. Because I follow you and I know your views on a lot of things.
Yeah. And you don't agree with them.
No,
you don't. That's
okay.
That's okay. It is okay. But I think that's where the point comes in, is that, you know, you've got to be able to say, okay, look, I don't agree with them, but hey, we'll still have a coffee together and we'll still have a chat. Tell me about your husband's book.
So he just released it last week. It was his 40th birthday last week, and he released his second book.
Yeah.
So it's really nerdy. So it's space fantasy is the genre.
Space fantasy.
Yeah. So magic in space.
Okay.
It's not my personal preference in terms of genre for reading.
But you support him.
Yeah, got ya.
Love that.
He loves it. That's all he reads is space fantasy. Apparently, it's like this huge genre.
It's massive
out there.
Have you ever watched a Star Wars film?
No. Oh, yes. Oh. I have once. That was...
You're going to get slammed.
Yeah, I know.
The degenerates on here.
I did try, and that was one of the things that I agreed to when I agreed to marry Owen.
I'll watch one episode.
I'll watch one.
One episode.
But we started at number 1. Apparently that wasn't...
The best.
No,
they're up to number 12 or something.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and what about...
Maybe I should try again.
Harry Potter? Have you watched...
I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Have you?
I'm a huge Harry Potter fan.
So just for everyone...
35, like...
Well, okay. I've never watched a Star Wars, and I've never read a Harry Potter book.
Right.
Never, not one. I'm a big avid reader, but I can't do the Harry Potter.
Okay.
Favorite TV show?
The Office.
Oh, okay. American version or British?
American.
Okay, American version. So is it because of Ricky?
No, I love Ricky Gervais. Huge fan. Ricky.
So the difference between the two?
The American one had a lot more heart.
Did it?
Yep. I enjoyed the English one. I'm not saying the English one is at all bad. I like Ricky. The humour is completely different. It's British humour versus American humour. I've probably been brought up on American humour a bit more.
Maybe, yeah. Seinfeld?
Was before my time.
Oh, okay.
I know. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of things. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons or Seinfeld.
So, okay, this might be a big difference. So back in my day, when I was like 8, 9, 10, and I wasn't old enough to go outside to play with all the other kids, we used to watch Abbott and Costello, black and white movies, Elvis movies, and Dagwood Bumstead. You probably don't know who the Bumsteads. Some people might know who that are. So when you were 8 or 9, what was plonking in front of the TV, and what was the show that you were watching? Probably Hey Hey Saturday.
8 or 9.
Red Dwarf. There's one.
Red Dwarf. I remember
Did you watch
Red Dwarf.
Oh, you remember it?
So 8 or 9 was like the 90s for me.
Fawlty Towers?
Fawlty Towers. I was a big Fawlty Towers fan because my dad was a huge Monty Python, John Cleese fan. I don't remember 8 or 9. I remember my teenage, and that was things like Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, okay. Yep. Abbott and Costello, who's on first?
Yeah, we weren't a big TV family. No. And again, this is, one of the things that I disagree with. My parents thought that they were doing the best thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of shows, and I wish that I was.
Or play with fast cars.
Yeah, I never had cars growing up. I was one of two girls.
Do you think you think your boy's going to grow up and say, "I'd never agree with my mum. She wouldn't let me play with fast cars"?
But I do let him.
Oh, you do let him, but you just don't like it.
I just don't like it. I don't want to sit down and play cars with him. That's all.
Did you ever watch the Monty Python's Flying Circus?
Flying Circus, yes. Oh my gosh, the 100-meter sprint for people with no direction. That is my favourite skit of all time.
Are you here for an argument? You haven't seen that one?
It's not. No, that's the Ministry of Silly Walks.
Yeah.
The argument.
The argument.
No, I'm not here for an argument.
Yeah, and then there's the bell.
Yeah.
So, okay. So you did watch a bit of. Well, here we go. Here's someone says this: Kimber the White Lion, Young Ones, Banana Splits, Space Main, Red Dwarf, Blake 7, and Monkey. Do you remember Monkey?
Was that Monkey Magic?
I think so. Some people. Spook told me a little bit about Monkey, and he said, "Did you never see Monkey?" I never watched Monkey. Three Stooges. Did you ever watch the Three Stooges?
Again, before my time. My dad used to make those sorts of noises.
Really? The Three Stooges were crack up. What about Rodney U. Plonker? Oh, something about Rodney. Is it Rodney Rude? Did you watch any of that? Chef says she can't be bad if she likes the Monty Python's Flying Circus. Yeah, the Monty Python's Flying Circus. All right. All too weird. So you got no questions for me? Would you come on and do this again?
Yeah, I'll do this again.
Would you? What would you do differently? Like, would you just yell at me more? Would be better.
No, I'd do some better research, so I had some better facts to
See,
bring.
I don't have any research either. I don't have any research. What I have is questions.
Yeah, I think I'm still trying to form my thoughts about things.
Good. That's good.
And it's very difficult to give a really solid argument when I haven't quite worked it out myself yet. And it's all things that I used to be very confident about, and I'm just not anymore.
You thought you were all going. Yeah. So let's start to finish off. Don't wait too long. What does that say? Don't wait too long, Kate. Things moving too fast.
Yeah,
they
true.
do. Yeah,
True.
they do. What's up? Open up to become a degenerate. Yeah, it's a special club, this one. All right. When I start to hear the music, it means we're starting to go. So I think we're starting to go. You missed my super chat, Shonda. Did I?
I haven't been very popular, have I? My God.
No, you've been very popular. There it is. No, that's Alan's. I've got Alan's. Shonda, write it down what you wrote. So thank you. I'm scrolling back to have a look. Shonda, if not, I'll put it on tomorrow. It won't go back any further. So people, if you got any last comments, please just put them down in the chat. And who was it? Pub Test. Pub Test won the competition. Pub Test, you won the competition yesterday. I said if you're the last person on, you were going to win the... I don't know what you win. You don't win anything. She makes G-Man look bright. She does.
Jesus, not that bad.
Did you say Jesus? Did you say Jesus again on Easter Monday?
No.
I'm sure you said Jesus.
Wasn't he back today?
All right, don't forget, cheers G-Man, and hit the like button. I only see 56 likes. There's 100 people watching. That's good. Kookaburra, oi, oi, oi. Yeah, cheers everyone. Say goodbye to everyone. Thank them for their time.
Bye. Thank you.
It's a bit longer to go. Men do have periods. I don't know.
I'm a woman and I don't, so there you go.
I am woman, hear me roar. Don't invite... Monkey. Monkey says, don't invite her again. I know she's too intelligent. Thanks, Kate, for your views. That's all they are.
Yeah, interesting that people don't want to have the discussion, hey?
No, I think they do want to have the discussion. Damn, hello and goodbye. Oh, you played TLP the last post. Thanks, Kate. Thank you. Thanks for making the show run a little bit longer. Yes, I try to keep it to an hour because everyone wants to get off and watch Tucker Carlson. What periods are you having? Just pain. I have period pain. How about the menopause? Yeah, why is it called menopause?
Menopause is one single day.
A day?
It is one single day. It is 1 year after your last period, after the start of your last period.
I've just been learned. Bye, everyone.